The FedEx Cup Playoffs start this week at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. The top 70 PGA Tour golfers are live at TPC Southwinds on Thursday as they march towards that big $25 million or whatever prize for winning the FedEx Cup Championship. We're going to be live. We're going to break it down. We're going to recap Aaron Rye's win. I'm rolling solo, guys, but we're back. Fairway to Heaven's live in 30 seconds. And what is up, everybody? Welcome to Fairway to Heaven right here on Edge of Philly Sports. As you see, I'm rolling solo tonight. We're back. Had a little shortened week last week, so we couldn't go live last week. But we're back. Jason's got to get Jax to football practice, so you can acknowledge that I am here and I'm running solo. Please do me a favor, guys. Please hit that like button, that subscribe button, that share button. Wherever you're watching, whether you're watching it live right now or if you're watching it on replay, it is free to do. It is free to hit those buttons. It is free to share it out, and it's free to support a local content creator. So please do that. Please help us out, and please share this out. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. You can find me on all social media platforms at Bearded Knowledge. Would greatly appreciate the share, the subscribe, the follow. If you can find me on a platform, I'd greatly appreciate it. Guys, it's we're wrapping up. We got 3 weeks left in the PGA Tour season. 3 weeks left of shows, and we're talking the FedEx St. Jude Championship this week. The first playoff stop on this tour. Top 70 golfers from the season's points totals are there this week at TPC Southwinds in Memphis, Tennessee. Before we talk about that, though, I got to recap last week. Aaron Rye winning his first PGA Tour event with the Wyndham Championship last week. Kind of just hanging on and surviving last week. Pays off. It was a community win, as we like to call it. Pretty much everybody was on Aaron Rye. I've been on Aaron Rye all year to get his first win. He finally got it last week on Sunday. And I'm really glad for him. Very happy for him. Very happy for my bank account. Very happy for my bankroll because it's really nice now. It's 2 weeks in a row, 2 PGA Tour events in a row that I have nailed. He kind of just hung around Aaron Rye last week. Max Grayson obviously collapsed with the 8. It was a quadruple bogey and a double bogey, I believe it was, in a 3-hole span. So he kind of collapsed. And obviously, there's the Matt Kuchar situation with Max Grayson and in general. Maybe that played a little factor in Max collapsing, the darkness that set. Cannot believe that they got the Wyndham Championship completed in the time frame that they did. Really did not see any way of that happening, but it did. It's good for them. It's good to know that they got it done on time, and that we won. We got a win. We got a community win. It's good. It's been a tough year. Only 3 outrights this year. 2 coming in the last 2 events. So it's good to get a win. It's good to feel good going into the playoffs this week. Matt Kuchar did Matt Kuchar things. Matt Kuchar was the typical a-hole Matt Kuchar, hitting his tee shot on 18 in the dark into the group of Aaron Rye, who's trying to win a tournament in front of him. And then after he hits the shot, he says, "Nah, I'm done. I'm finishing tomorrow." Everybody else in his group, including Max, finishes. Then he comes back out on Monday morning to do a half a hole. And that is anything that is Matt Kuchar-esque. That for sure is Matt Kuchar-esque. Only Matt Kuchar would do something like that. So there was that whole thing. Just another reason for us to just not like Matt Kuchar last week, the way he handled that. Look, maybe Max Grayson and maybe they should have called it a few holes earlier, brought everybody back out on Monday to finish the round. Maybe the results would have been different, but it is what it is. There's a lot of happy people that Aaron Rye, me included, Very happy that he won. So all good for us betters, all good for us fantasy guys, all good for all of us that we got the win. It didn't really change anything in the sense of the grand scheme of things with, the playoffs. I mean, yeah, I was pretty much already in the playoffs no matter what. So was Grayson. Kuchar jumped up from 110 to 102 or something like that. So he's not making the playoffs. We know that. So that's kind of funny. That's kind of comical. Matt Kuchar being the D-bag that he is, and he's not in the playoffs right now. So it is what it is, guys. But the Wyndham Championship is now complete. And we move on, like I said, to the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Obviously, first and foremost, the St. Jude Championship is hosted, and is there to help raise funds for an amazing organization, St. Jude, that does a lot of great work for children, sick children, and their families. So I just pledge to everybody, if you've got a buck or two, I put the link where you can donate to St. Jude in the description of this video. I would plead, if you've got a couple bucks that you could spare, make a donation. I am pledging, if I hit an outright this week, and I have 4 outrights, and I am going to donate half my winnings this week to St. Jude. So, let's cheer on our outrights. Let's all, if you've got an extra dollar or two, do something good, help somebody out, and make that donation this week. Again, one more thing that I want to discuss, and I dropped it a little bit this morning on Trending in the AM, my morning show, 8 a.m. Monday through Friday, right here on Edge of Philly Sports. I dropped one other thing, and that was the Grayson Murray situation, the Grayson Murray story, and how it's playing out. There's no doubt that the PGA Tour has had a very questionable year in the sense of their image, in the things that they do, the decision making. Obviously, we don't have to rehash all that. Grayson Murray, obviously, in May, failed in his battle, lost his battle with his mental issues and his demons, obviously committing suicide at a young age. What is he, 30, 31? And it breaks my heart even to talk about it. But because of his win at the Century Tournament Champions, because of how great of a season he had, he still fell in the playoff rankings to make this week, technically. And he was still listed in the FedEx Cup standings up through last week. They left him there, kind of a memoriam and whatnot. They left him in the rankings. And the PGA Tour decided to pull him out and bump up Victor Perez from 71 into 70 so that they get their full 70-player field this week. And I think the PGA Tour missed a moment there. Missed the mark with that. Grayson Murray qualified. Yes, I know he passed away. I know he cannot play in the event. But I think the PGA Tour should have left Grayson Murray's name and his spot open in this event, the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Grayson Murray has done a lot over the last 3 or 4 years to help the game of golf evolve in a mental standpoint, because he's been very open and adamant about his struggles with drugs, alcohol, mental illnesses over the last, his entire playing career, entire life. And, he helped bring forward some changes in those areas on the PGA Tour. He was the first to speak out about troubles and struggles. He had the PGA Tour bring in doctors and mental health experts to the tour to help any golfers that might be struggling. And I think they missed the boat. And yeah, there's prize money on the line. I get that. But they could have used that prize money in honor of Grayson Murray, wherever he falls. If he would fall because he doesn't play down to 70th place, whatever 70th place. I found a hard time finding what the payouts are this week. I read one place 40,000. I read another place 400,000. Whatever it is, it's a significant amount of money. Would go to 70th place. They could have used that money, given it to his parents, his family. They could have used that money and donated it to a charity in his honor for those that are struggling with similar circumstances. But instead of doing that, they pulled his name out of the list. They bumped up Victor Perez. I honestly, I would love to get a quote from Victor Perez on that, how he feels about that. But to me, it's kind of an awkward spot for Victor Perez in, because he needs this payday. But It is what it is. I think the PGA Tour missed the mark, missed the boat in this situation. I really do. I firmly believe that. And I really, really wish the PGA Tour would have handled it all differently. But we've got 70 golfers in the field for this week's event. Like I said, TPC South wins in Memphis, Tennessee. Guys, this isn't going to be a super long, hour plus long episode. This is just going to be. Did my mouse just die? No, there it is. So we're gonna fire through this episode today. So since we're firing through this episode, we do got to make sure we drop some of our great sponsors. And the first and foremost, SherryTickets.com. If you need sports tickets, concert tickets, theater tickets, why would you go anywhere else? SherryTickets.com is easy to use and has the best damn prices there are. No hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. So go to SherryTickets.com, find the tickets to the event you want to go to, use promo code EOP10 to save 10%, and there you go. No, why would you overpay with the rest? Save with the best. SherryTickets.com. And of course, our friends PhillySportsTrips.com. Premier travel and tailgate experience company in the Philadelphia region. Obviously, their Brazil trip is sold out, but if you want to travel to see the Eagles and any other team, they've got great packages everywhere. Just go to their website, PhillySportsTrips.com, sign up, mention Edge of Philly Sports, mention Fairway to Heaven, and then, pick a trip. Pick a trip and go. I mean, it's not just football. They're doing Penn State things, spring training trips, trip to Miami to see the Union take on the Miami soccer team. I don't know who they are. But, guys, check them out, PhillySportsTrips.com. So this week, the playoffs start. TPC South wins. What is TPC South wins, and what are the playoffs? So you got 70 golfers. It's a no-cut event. A lot of points on the ticket this week. Lots of money on the ticket this week. All 70 guys in the top 70 are in it. I mean, somebody like Scottie Scheffler or Rory, they could skip this event if they wanted to. They are not. And they'd still get to it. The top 50 after this week go on to next week's BMW Championship. And then after that, the top 30 go on to the Tour Championship, the final week of the season, in a couple weeks. Some of the top guys, I think in top 15 or 16 I read, there's no way that they even missed the Tour Championship. So there isn't a lot of reason to play this week, but they are. It's kind of like an elevated event feel. And again, a lot of money, a lot of FedEx points. Everybody that makes it next week in the top 50 is guaranteed a slot into all elevated events next year. So I think there's a lot on the line there as well. And hold on, I got my man Len Hochberg's page up, and he put a list of the guys. So first off, last year, only 2 golfers outside of the top 50 were able to make it into the top 50. They were, Hideki Matsuyama and Cam Davis. Both names I like this week. And they were able to move up. Hideki with a 16th place last year, and Cam Davis finished T6 last year in this event. Were able to bump up. So it's very hard to get your way up. There are 2 big names on the outside looking in. One, Victor Hovland, last year's Tour champion, who's in 57th place, and Jordan Spieth, who has just been terrible all year, is in 64th place. He might need a top 10, top 5, something like that. The 5 names just inside the cut line: Adam Scott's at 46, Grayson, who just had that tough collapse last week, at 47, Mackenzie Hughes at 48, Will Zalatoris 49, Jake Knapp at 50. Just outside looking in, the top 5 spots who have the best chance of bumping up there: Harris English 51, Nick Taylor 52, Patrick Rogers 53, Eric Cole 54, Justin Rose 55. I'm not using any of that information to make plays this week, to make bets this week, to build lineups this week. So complex on how you get points. It's not just your placements, it's birdies, it's pars. There's so much that goes into it that I'm just focusing in on the course and who I think is in best condition and best playing to succeed on this course. So I'm ignoring that information. But it is something to keep in mind. Maybe some of these guys, on Sunday, since it is a no-cut event, we're going to get 4 rounds of everybody. So you could take your chances. As we know from the elevated events, when it's a no-cut event, you could take more chances with your lineups because you're guaranteed 4 rounds. So maybe some of those guys on the outside are a little bit more aggressive, which could be boom or bust potential on Sunday. But we'll see how that plays out. What is TPC South wins? Just under 7,300 yard, par 70, 7,250 approximately. Par 70, only 2 par 5s. It's a tough course. a hell of a lot. 33% of the approach shots, because although it's a longer par 70, there's like 11 or 12 dog legs on this course. So it really cuts the distance down. Driving distance is not as important as hitting the fairway. A boatload, 30+% of your approach shots are going to come from that 150 to 175 bucket. So you need really good ball strikers. You need really good iron players. You need really good approach players to succeed this week. You need guys that are overall driving wise going to be very good. Let me see here. I have a stat somewhere here. I got to find it. Last year. But basically last year, the guys that here it is. Last year, Glover won this event. Well, Glover and Patrick Cantley finished in a playoff last year. And Rory McIlroy was third last year. All of them were in the top 4 in tee to green performance last year, and all ranked in the top 5 in approach as well last year. So that is what you're looking for: approach, tee to green, basically the most important stats on tour for tough courses, for tough events. When your cream rises to the top, you want your best tee to green players and you want your best approach players. And that's what you're looking for this week when you're building lineups, when you're making bets. I've made 4 bets and I've built 4 lineups so far. And obviously, you got Scottie Scheffler in this field. You got Rory. You got so many big names in this field. And I'm just going to start right off the bat with my favorite play DFS-wise. He's in all 4 of my lineups right now. He's my first bet I made at 40-1, Sungjae Im. He's played great at this course in the past. 6th place last year, 12th in 2022. He's got 5 top 10s in his last 8 events overall this year. He's top 30 and off the tee, around the green, tee to green. The guy's been an elite player for a couple months now. And he struggled at first this year, but he's really gotten his game going. He's 16, 18% ownership projection. Which again, on the side note, in a 70-man no-cut field, kind of projections on ownership kind of skewed in my opinion. Only 70 players, so instead of 25% being a high percent, the top guys might push 30. So 18% used to be chalky. Now that's kind of like in a normal event to me. 18% really feels like 14% to me. So I love Sungjae Im. I think Sungjae Im wins this event this week. There is nothing that tells me any otherwise. I'm trying to go 3 events in a row, 3 PGA Tour events in a row with an outright winner. And if I'm going to hit it, it's going to be Sungjae Im. And I'm not even questioning myself in stating that. That's my very strong opinion. My second favorite play this week, my biggest outright bet because of the odds. He's 28-1, 9,300 on DraftKings. Also going to be in that 15 to 18% ownership projections, in my opinion. Finished 11th in my model this week. Really is the number 1 scrambler in the field over the last 36 rounds. Top 15 in ball striking, top 15 in approach, top 5 in third overall tee to green in this field. Really good at bogey avoidance. You got to worry about bogeys on this course. You really do. Things can really get away from you. 7th in that this week, and that is Hideki Matsuyama. Love Hideki Matsuyama this week. I'm pulling up his player profile card right now. Obviously, didn't do well in his last 2 events, 66 at the Open, missed the cut at the Scottish Open. Before he went across the pond, let me ramble off his numbers. 23rd, 6th, 8th, 35th, 38th, 7th, 6th, 12th, 1st. So since the Genesis, he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top 7 events, including a win. Hideki Matsuyama is having a hell of a season. I think Hideki Matsuyama, just like Sungjae Im, can win this event. So what do you do with the rest of the board? What do you do with the rest of the field? And I just want to run down these names. Scottie Scheffler, coming off his gold medal win 2 weeks ago, back in the field, best player in the world, hands down. Should win this event. I think he's 3-1, 3.5-1 to win this event. 12-4 on DraftKings. Very playable in a no-cut field like this. I put him in one of my 4 lineups just to get a little exposure to him. I find it hard to get value with my betting style at 3-4-1 like Scottie Scheffler is. But you can make a case to fire a single bullet and a case to put Scottie Scheffler in every lineup. You can. He is clearly the best player in the world. having the best season. He's got 6 wins on the season, including a major. He's got a gold medal. I think the argument of Scottie Scheffler versus Xander Schauffele, who's next on the board, I think it's over. Scottie Scheffler has beaten Xander Schauffele for the Player of the Year award, if you want to say that. You could do it. And you could build a lineup with a guy at 12-4 with some 6K guys. I chose not to often. I only played, since I'm only doing 4 lineups, I only played 2 guys in the 6K range. But you can make that argument to do it. You absolutely can. Ownership right now is about 25%. It'll probably get up to 30. I think he's the highest owned projected guy right now. No, Colin Morikawa just below him at 10K is the highest projected guy right now. But I see Scottie Scheffler ended up as the highest owned guy. But you can make you can make a case that it's worth playing him. Xander Schauffele, Roy McIlroy, Ludwig Oberg, and Colin Morikawa. That's the rest of the top of the board. I did dabble with one lineup with Scottie, and I did one lineup with Rory. But all those guys, excellent plays. Colin Morikawa being the great elite approach player, iron player that he is. Number 1 in fairways gained in this field over the last 36 rounds. Great play, just chalky. I just couldn't get behind him. Again, when you do lesser lineups like I'm doing now, it really forces you to find your favorite plays and stick to them. Hence, Sung Jae Im and Hideki Matsuyama, and build out from there. In the 9K range, you got Tommy Fleetwood, Patrick Cantlay. Victor Hovland is a name I want to dabble with. He's the tour champion last year. 35th in my model out of 70 golfers this week. Projected at only 8%. Victor Hovland is a big-time player. Victor Hovland came on strong at the Tour Championship last year. Victor Hovland's had an awful season. I put Victor Hovland in 2 lineups. Victor Hovland can go low. 15, 16, 17 under. That's about expectations. It's going to be hot as hell in Memphis, Tennessee. Maybe a little bit of rain on Friday. Barely any wind. Victor Hovland's a guy that can get hot and win you a GPP if his ownership stays below 10%, which at this point, it's trending in that direction. So Victor Hovland's a very interesting name for me this week, and one that I think a lot of people should pay attention to and keep an eye on this week. Going down the rest of that 9K range, obviously we already mentioned Hideki, one of my 2 favorite plays. Corey Connors is getting a lot of hype. Russell Henley, I think, might be the most bet guy this week so far. I'm not, but I know a lot of people are on him. Going further down, Tom Kim, Tony Finau, great plays as well this week. Obviously, y'all know I'm a big Sung Jae Im guy. Aaron Rai is another interesting name to me. Aaron Rai is coming off his first win on the PGA Tour. I know he won the Scottish Open before it was part of the PGA Tour, but his first PGA Tour win was last week, very late into the night. I don't know what to do with Aaron Rai. I mean, I faded Aaron Rai. Aaron Rai is, let's be honest. Aaron Rai is one of the hottest golfers on tour right now. I mean, obviously his win, he didn't do well at the Open Championship with a 75th place. But take away the Open Championship, he's got a first, a fourth, a seventh, a second, a 19th, a fourth. He hasn't finished outside the top 20 minus the Open Championship since Charles Schwab. He hasn't missed a cut since Punta Cana back in April. He's got a fourth, a 14th, a 19th, a second, a seventh, a fourth. The guy's red hot. He does it all. He putts. He's last week in his win, 11.3 strokes gained tee to green, 8.8 strokes gained on approach, almost 3 strokes gained putting. Aaron Rai is on fire. But I don't know. Coming off your first PGA Tour win, it's a fade to me. And that's coming from a guy that's a huge Aaron Rai supporter. I've been supporting Aaron Rai all season long. Probably my most bet guy this year was Aaron Rai. Cam Young in this range here as well, and Shane Lowry. See a lot of people talking about Wyndham Clark because his odds are like 100-1 on some boards. I guess you can get behind that. Benny On's a great play, I think, this week because he just scores a ton of points. You got to remember something that I put in my model. I know a lot of people are focusing on bogey avoidance and stuff like that this week, but it's a no-cut event. So I am focusing in on DraftKings scoring. Who is going to score the most points? And I think it's important to know who scores the most points. Wyndham Clark scores a lot of points. Matthew Fitzpatrick scores not so many. Adam Scott does. I'm looking at guys. Benny On, top 20 in DraftKings scoring. Top 20 ball striking. Top 25 on approach. Benion's a sneaky little play this week. He's in a couple of my lineups at 7,600. Brian Harmon at 7,600 is a nice play. Full fade on Max Homa, full fade on Jason Day. So we get to my third bet of the week. Love this bet. 60-1. Seventh in my model. Number 2 in fairways gain. Number 7 in approach. Number 4 in that proximity bucket. A guy that I think is just as easily could win this event just as easily as anybody else in this field. 22nd at the Open Championship the last time he teed it up. He's got a couple fifth-place finishes, 3 fifth-place finishes this year, an 8th-place finish. He's played some really good golf this year. He's won a couple times on tour in the past, so it's not like he's never won. So there is win equity, so to speak. There's great tee to green player, great off the tee, great approach. Struggles around the green a little bit. But Sepp Straka is a name that I absolutely just love. He's under 15% ownership projection right now. Again, 7,400 on DraftKings. 60-1 is what I bet him at. Oh, man. Absolutely in love with Sepp Straka this week. I think you guys could do very good if you put Sepp Straka in a lineup or two this week. Davis Thompson, obviously another first-time winner this year, has been very hot lately. I love him this week. Taylor Pendrith is another name I like a lot this week. Great putter, great scorer of DraftKings points, proximity bucket, just shots gained total. Over his last 36 rounds, he's 11th in the field. So Taylor Pendrith is in a couple of my lineups as well. So I like that play. Keegan, I liked. I didn't get him into any lineups. Thomas Dietrich, I should have this up on the screen, but I don't. Anyway, the next name I like a lot this week, did not bet him, but ended up putting him in a couple lineups, and that is Cam Davis at 6,800. He might be the chalk, like 8-9% right now. It might go up a lot. T13 here last year, T6. T13 here 2 years ago. T6 last year got him into the top 50. Won't have that at present. He's inside the 50 at 44, but he should still want to push himself close to that top 30. The guy's great. Guy's a great golfer, and at 6,800, I think he might have been mispriced. If he was 7,100, 7,300, probably still be playing him this week. So Cam Davis is a name I like a lot this week as well. And then my final bet of the week, and obviously if I'm pledging half my winnings to St. Jude, they'd really like this one to happen here. And that's at 6,600 on DraftKings, 110-1 to win. Finished 7th last week at the Wyndham. Was one of my plays last week on DraftKings. Has had an up and down season. Before his 7th place, he had missed his previous 2 cuts. Then he had a 5th place at John Deere, a 2nd at RBC, a missed cut at the Memorial. So he's all over the place this year. But he does a couple things really well. His approach play is elite. That is one Mr. Ben Griffin. I want to put in St. Jude here on his player profile. Yeah, finished 24th here last year as well. So he's got some good course history. So you can't go wrong with Ben Griffin. 6 on approach in this field, 22nd DraftKings, 11th in that proximity bucket, top 25 in bogey avoidance and tee to green, just outside of 25 at 26 on ball striking. Ben Griffin riding hot and high after last week. It's a guy I like this week. It's a guy that I could get behind, and it's a guy I could deal with this week. Guys, we also have a great sponsor, David Archer, Cherry Law Firm. If you've been in if you need a workers' compensation lawyer, motor vehicle accident, if you've been in one, personal injury law, or criminal lawyer, go see my man David Archer, the Cherry Law Firm. Give him a call, 610-565-0300. Go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Sign up, fill out your form. Just tell him Edge of Philly Sports, Fairway to Heaven is where you heard about him. David Archer, Cherry Law Firm. Let him fight for you, get you what you deserve. He will get you everything that you deserve. 610-565-0300, or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. And, of course, our good friends over at Boland's Bar in Ridley Park. Great food, great times for 65-plus years. They've been the quintessential Irish-American dive bar in Delaware County. Go in there. Tell PJ, EOP, Fairway to Heaven sent you. You can find it at DolensBar.com, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, guys. And make sure you guys are hitting the like, share, subscribe, follow on this video, please. I'd greatly appreciate it. And on Edge of Philly Sports, we've got 7-day-a-week programming. 8 o'clock, Birds of a Round Table. 9 o'clock tonight, Chalk Talk. Post-game Phillies live after the Phillies game tonight. Lots of stuff. That's 6 shows on EOP today alone. 30 shows alone this week. Guys, make sure you're locked and loaded right here at Edge of Philly Sports. Lots of great stuff happening right here. So that's my thing. So my betting card again this week, my number one bet, my favorite bet, the guy I think is going to win is Sungjae Im, 40-1, 8,700 on DraftKings. My second favorite bet, 28-1, Hideki Matsuyama. He's in 3 of my 4 lineups, where Sungjae Im is in 4 at 9,300. Also got that nice bet on Sepp Straka, 60-1, and Ben Griffin, 110-1. 4 lineups, like I said. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 12 guys totally used in my 4 lineups. 4 times with Sungjae Im, 3 times with Hideki, a whole bunch of guys with 2. I did dabble and give myself some exposure to Rory McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler because I kind of feel like you got to at least give yourself 1 click on those 2 guys. And then again, I did put 1 click on Shane Lowry. I don't even know why I played Shane Lowry. Maybe I can find a way to get off of Shane Lowry there. Not even sure why I gave him 1 click this week. But guys, Sepp Straka, Cam Davis, Davis Thompson, Pendrith, Benny On, Vic Hovland even. Like, take some chances. When you've got a no-cut event like this, it is okay to take some chances. You're going to get 4 days of scoring from them. You want guys that score points, birdies, eagles. You got 2 par 5s that are both gettable. You want guys that make birdies and eagles. You want guys that score. Don't worry about who's outside the cut line or who's outside the top 50 or who's just inside of it. That'll all play itself out. I don't think that means anything this week when you're building your DraftKings lineup. I don't think it means anything when you're making your bets this week. You just pick the best golfers this week. Plain and simple. But anyway, that's a short episode of Fairway to Heaven there. We're going to wrap it up quickly. I can already hear my dogs barking upstairs. But I will be back live tomorrow morning, trending in the AM again. Like I said, stay locked and loaded at the trending Edge of Philly Sports for all their great content. But with that being said, y'all have a great night. Think about making a donation, small, even if it's just a couple bucks, to the St. Jude organization. We'll be back next week, maybe with Jason, probably with Stevie. We'll do the BMW Championship next week. We'll try to drag it out a little longer, have a little longer of a conversation next week. Be a little easier with other people with me. But with that being said, guys, I'm Phil Stiefel, your host. You can find me at Bearded Knowledge on social media. Have a great night, guys. Let's go 3 tournaments in a row with an outright. Sungjae Im, let's go.